How's it going, guys? My name is LongBarrel, and today we'll be reviewing the newest gaming mouse from Cougar, the Revenger S. I just want to let you guys know that this is a paid review, but I promise I will stay 100% honest through it. I just wanted to get that out of the way, so let's get started. So I've been using this mouse for close to 2 weeks now. Every Road to Global episode since episode 59 features this mouse. I can't say I felt any loss in performance from switching to this mouse. Compared to my Logitech G502, it is 27 grams lighter at 94 grams. I didn't feel a difference in the sensors, and the ergonomic shape design felt quite natural. There were, however, some features that I did not like, which I will get to in just a bit, but first, let's go over the specs and features. First things first, like I mentioned earlier, this mouse is super light, weighing at just 94 grams with the width at 65 millimeters and the length at 130 millimeters. Because I switched from a much heavier mouse, the 27 gram difference was surprisingly easy to get used to. At first, my flicks were a little too harsh, but I quickly learned how to control my hand relative to the weight of this mouse. It features a PixArt PMW3360 optical gaming sensor which can go up to 12,000 dpi. One of the biggest selling features of this mouse is its 2000 Hz polling rate. I personally can't notice the difference between 1000 Hz and 2000 Hz polling rate, but who knows, maybe it's making some things more consistent without me even realizing. I've definitely used mice before that had atrocious sensors, and you can really feel how they impact your performance. In the 2 weeks of using this mouse, I did not feel any poor performance nor any difference from my G502, as they both pretty much have these same exact sensors. Great move on Cougar's part, as this sensor is one of the most trusted and one of the best on the market. The Revenger S features the Omron gaming switches rated for a lifetime of up to 50 million clicks. It's a bit of a lighter switch than my previous mouse, but not by much. It's very easy to click. Never have I ever found that it gets stuck, nor does it ever get multi-clicked by accident. Overall, these switches feel solid. Every click is fast and responsive. Trigger fingering is quite easy. It hasn't disappointed yet, but who knows. Usually switches crap out with time, so we'll see how they feel later down the line. Overall, this mouse has 6 programmable buttons. I really like that they added full control to customize each button. For example, the DPI switch button can be switched to a keyboard key, which can then be programmed in-game for various functions. I personally really benefit from this function, as my DPI switch button is used to pull out the Molotov in Counter-Strike. The DPI button has also a special esports mode feature. Pressing and holding the DPI button for 3 seconds will deactivate it. This will prevent you from accidentally switching the DPI in wrong situations. It's quite hard to unintentionally press the DPI button, but nonetheless, it's a cool feature. The back and the forward buttons are a tiny bit hard to press. This did take some time to get used to. They do protrude out a little bit from the side, which makes it easier to press, but the click itself is quite hard. This makes clicking it in game a little bit distracting. I know it's a very petty complaint, but I've used mice with buttons being really easy to press, and they make the overall experience just that much better. I think if they made the button a little less flat and a little bit lighter, it would easily solve this issue. This mouse does feature RGB lighting, but only on the mouse wheel and the Cougar logo on the back of the mouse. The lighting does, however, look solid. Cougar claims that their lighting can support up to 16.8 million colors, which can be adjusted in their Cougar UIX software, which I'll talk about later. The lighting itself is fairly nice, but pretty standard. I think they definitely could have added a little bit more lighting around the mouse instead of just 2 areas, but this is expected on a $50 mouse. Some other features of this mouse includes 250 IPS max tracking speed, 50 Gs of max acceleration, 512 kilobytes onboard memory, gold-plated USB plug, and a 1.8 meters of unbraided cable. Now that we talked about the features of the Revenger S, let's talk about its feel and design. The ergonomic shape of this mouse does mean you can pretty much use any grip you like. Whether you use palm grip, claw grip, or fingertip grip, rest assured that you'll be quite comfortable. I personally use a hybrid between a claw and fingertip grip, and I have no troubles using this mouse for an extended period of time. I was actually really surprised that it was this comfortable using this mouse with my grip, as I've never actually owned a mouse of this particular shape. Long gaming sessions never made my arm tired, nor put any stress on my wrist. This is good news, since wrist problems are a huge issue for professional gamers. I did experiment with a palm grip as well. I was never comfortable using this grip, but this mouse did make it feel somewhat natural. At least way more natural than my other mouse. I think this is due to the width consistency throughout the mouse. The build of the mouse is actually surprisingly solid. Nothing bends or flexes. There are no creaking sounds when squeezing it. The whole thing itself looks to be put together very well. Usually on light mice like this, the cheaper ones will have noticeable creaking noises and flexion of the plastic. It is really awesome to see that they did not cheap out on the build quality. The top of the mouse has a metallic matte black finish which feels decent but far from good. It is a tad bit slippery, so if you have a sweaty hand, it might cause some slippage of the grip. The good thing about this finish is it doesn't leave noticeable fingerprints, which is quite nice. The scroll wheel has a standard rubber finish, which feels decent. Also, the scrolling itself is quite nice, and I haven't found myself jumping by accident in game yet. The other 3 buttons have a matte black finish, which also has a grippier surface than the rest of the mouse. Finally, the sides of the mouse feature 2 real rubber flanks that supposedly stabilize your grip. I personally found these grips to be quite slippy. They make my thumb and the 2 side fingers a tad bit sweaty, which effectively ruins my grip. This is probably due to the actual rubber used and the grooves in the rubber. I think if they used harder rubber and less grooves, it would solve this problem. Another minor complaint is their decision to not braid the cable. This is a $50 mouse, but braiding the cable is quite standard on most peripherals nowadays, and it really helps preserve the life of the cable since there is an added layer of protection. At the same time, having a 1.8 meter cable without a Velcro strap also kind of disappointed me. Velcro straps are really great for cable management if you have a tight setup. I was forced to use their stock twist tie, which isn't really favorable. Again, quite petty complaints, but definitely features that should be standard in today's market. Alright, let's talk about their UIX software. The Revenger S uses Cougar's UIX software, which you do need if you want to change the color or adjust the DPI settings. The software itself does look quite outdated, the design can definitely be rehauled, but aside from that, it's quite simple and easy to use. In here you can create profiles, change your DPI, polling rate, sniper DPI, calibrate your surface, assign key functions, and obviously change your RGB colors. Since you can have up to 4 DPI switches, you can customize the RGB to match each DPI setting. The mouse wheel and the logo have separate color settings, so you can adjust those independently. I will say, however, that the color settings are a little bit confusing. You can change the mode, the speed, and the brightness, and what seems like the sequence of colors. Not really sure what going up and down on the color bar does. I ran into a little bit of annoyance, however, when I was forced to redo all of my settings after my software updated. I'm not really sure if this is a one-time thing or I'll have to set up my settings again with each update to the software. Overall, the software isn't too special, just standard mouse software that's designed to do its job. So that pretty much covers everything about this mouse. For $50, you get a nice ergonomic shape, top-of-the-line optical sensor, RGB lighting, 6 programmable buttons, and an overall solid mouse. However, I did not like the lack of cable braiding, soft rubber grips which make my fingers sweaty, hard to press side buttons, and software updates that reset your settings. But I think overall the Revenger S is quite a solid mouse that can compete in today's market. I think this is a fantastic mouse if you're on a budget or just looking for a simple, solid replacement mouse. Thank you to Cougar for sending me this mouse. This is the second product that I'm reviewing for them and has been nothing but pleasure working with them. If you guys want to check out the Revenger S or Cougar, I will leave the links down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this review. That's gonna do it for me for today. My name is LongBarrel, and remember, be water, my friends.